Hey my friend, welcome to my YouTube channel. DocHollyHealth here, and today we are going to be talking about how to grow your glutes. Now when I tell you I literally had the flattest butt ever, I'm finally have cracked the code and I'm growing my glutes. I have gained 10 pounds of muscle since my wedding in May because I have been going ham on these exact tips on how to grow that, what the kids call that dump truck. So if you're in the same boat as me, you've been trying or you'd like to try to get some glute gains, but you don't know what to do, you don't know where to start, or you just want some tips and tricks to get over that plateau, I'm gonna be sharing all of that with you in this video. We're gonna go through one of my glute workouts and share all the goods. So can't wait. I hope you're excited too. Drop a comment if you are ready for this, and let's dream bigger and lift smarter. Any good glute workout's got to start with proper fuel, and the PSL is out. So I got my pumpkin cold brew, some pumpkin bread, and I am so ready, so fueled up to kill this glute workout. And of course, you're not gonna miss out on the warm-up. The warm-up is really one of the most important parts in your lifting journey to maintain longevity, stay safe, stay healthy in your workouts, work on your range of motion, and get ready for a killer workout. So this is kind of my go-to warm-up. I'll do some hinges, some lunges, really just some variation of all of these dynamic movements for 5 to 10 minutes, depending on honestly how much time I have. I wish I always did more like 10 minutes. I wish I always did like a Stairmaster too, but honestly, this is what I stick to, dynamic mobility warm-up. I really use this time to get myself pumped up, formulate the mind-body connection so that I'm present. I have the right intention to push myself in the workout, so I'm not thinking about this, that, and the other, or scrolling on my phone. Like, I'm here and I'm ready to work, and the warm-up really helps me to get in that mindset too. So definitely don't neglect this. Like I mentioned, I'm gonna take you through a workout as I explain how to get this awesome glute workout. I either start with my squat or my sumo style deadlift, and this is the exercise that I focus on progressive overload. I'm making sure that I'm pushing myself a little bit more throughout my lifting cycle, and it's a compound movement. So I'm not only using my glutes, I'm using my thighs, I'm using my core, I'm using my hamstring, and I'm going heavy, so it's a low rep, high rest. I'm doing 3 sets of 5 with heavy weight. These types of workouts are going to fatigue your central nervous system. It's going to overload you systemically, which like your whole body really gets worked like we talked about. But over time, I'm gonna gain strength and I'm gonna gain mass, and mass moves mass. So the stronger I am, the heavier I am, the more I can lift, and then the more you can lift in that hypertrophy rep range, which is more like the 8 to 12 rep range, which you'll see the remainder of the workout. That's what we're gonna focus on. But the first exercise, I think it's so important to get that kind of total body work and to make sure that you're gaining strength in your glutes. I've really gotten to the point where I can connect to my glute muscles, my hamstring muscles in this workout. I'm so focused on my form, my technique, keeping my lats engaged to make sure I really just am getting a good workout, but I'm not overdoing it and just feeling it in my joints or in my back. The remainder of your glute workout, I want you to be so focused on that mind-muscle connection. This is now your main focus. You are fully present and you're setting that intention to feel the movement in your glutes. Literally, I'll imagine them growing. It sounds kind of funny, but I swear it works. So this is the hip thrust. We're going to do 4 sets of 12, resting like 90 seconds in between. I'm choosing a moderate weight for this one for myself. Like at the end of the set, I could for sure do around 2 more reps. I'm going nice and slow, focusing on that lockout at the top as I tuck my pelvis under and squeeze my glutes fiercely. I want to feel the burn. If you don't feel the burn, you might be going too light. So you find the foot position where you feel it the most, your form is pristine, and this right here is a glute dominant exercise. If you follow Brett Contreras, you know that the hip thrust is a must. It isolates the glutes so well. You can do it with the barbell or the machine like I'm doing here. I have been loving this variation of the RDL lately, with one of my feet on the wall and the other one is less than a foot away, and I slightly turn my knee out. That turns on your external rotators, but I'm focused on the glute max. Okay, your glute max does primarily hip extension, and in a closed kinetic chain, which means when your foot stays on the ground, that is the hinge movement. When you push your hips back like I'm doing here and then stand back up, that's the whole movement. On the way back, you're getting the biggest glute stretch, so you're loading the muscle as it lengthens, and that is really good for glute development if you go nice and slow and stay in the tension. So I'm not gonna stand all the way up. That way I stay where I feel every fiber in my glutes working. So you're just going in the hinge, going as far down as you can go with a flat back, and then you're gonna kind of thrust your hips forward without standing all the way up. Just go till you feel kind of that rise out of the bottom of the movement. You can see it here from the side about how far I stand up. Well, you can also see that the shin stays pretty vertical. Honestly, it's more of a negative shin angle where I'm pulling it back, and that kind of keeps my quads out of the movement, which is not what I'm focusing on here. So that's a huge tip. Keeping your core tight and making sure you're kind of angling your nose towards your second toe of the front foot also helps a ton. And I did 3 sets of 10 for that one. Now, using similar principles as we just talked about, we're going to do this modified step up so that you feel it in your glutes. Okay, so I'm holding onto the wall in front of me, which I love this area of the gym for it. I can hold onto the little ledge. Then you see how far hinged I am. Like my chest is almost lying on my thigh at the bottom, because that's going to give me the biggest glute stretch at the bottom of the movement. You see they're stretching out, and then as I stand, that's hip extension, and that's where you use your glute max. Again, I'm not going all the way up because I would like to stay in the tension. I'd like to stay where my glutes are really burning, because I know that I'm getting the mind muscle connection and I'm pushing my glutes to the limit. Again, I felt like I was shaky. You don't want your knee to collapse inward. Your knee should be going kind of over the direction of your second toe. So I kind of always turn out my toe, engage my core. Even though I'm bowing forward, I am keeping a flat back generally, and the weight just goes right inside my front leg, and I just drag my back leg down the step as low as I can control, and that will depend on your mobility. For this one, I did 3 sets of 10, the same thing. It was a little bit lighter so I could focus on the mind muscle connection. In my mind, doing 5 exercises for a glute day is the perfect amount for you to stay focused. I stay at the gym for about an hour, and I can really be in the mind muscle connection. If not, I start to compensate, or I don't progressively overload in like a strategic fashion because it just becomes too much. So for the leg press, I'm doing 3 sets of 12. Again, at kind of a moderate weight for myself. I am externally rotating my knee so it stays over like my second toe, keeping my core engaged, and I'm going to the depth that I currently have. This is going to be different depending on your mobility. But when you push the weight away, that's your glute extension. So you're really using your glutes to do the work, although it's a compound movement where you're gonna use your quads and your hamstrings, your core, of course. But the way to bias the glutes is to put your feet a little bit higher than maybe you typically would. I didn't do it here, but you could even use a band and kind of push your knees out. That way you can get some glute med action too. But the leg press and going heavy here is a great way to get your glutes to work. So overall, with this workout, I hit about 16 sets of glute focused exercises. That's pretty high volume. Throughout the week, we'd like to see around 30 sets. So if I were to do another workout very similar to this one, that would be perfect. I would recommend doing 2 glute focused days a week if that's kind of what you're doing, if you're going to model it after what we just talked about. You could also break it up into 3 days, or you could do 1 day, especially if you're just beginning and you're getting used to the technique and just learning the basics of feeling that mind-body connection. But if you're more advanced, you've been doing this for a long time, of course you can be strategic and do it 3 days a week if that's what you're going for, focusing on number 1, progressive overload with that heavy movement. Number 2, finding weights throughout the rest of the exercise that you can feel the best glute pump, the best mind-body connection. I'm always timing my rest in between 60 and 90 seconds, enough for me to have like a good quality next set. Right? You should be pushing your weights to the point where you actually need that rest. You're not just go to the next exercise. These workouts take me about an hour and allow me to keep growing. Another reason I have grown my glutes a ton these past few months is because I am intuitively bulking. I know my set point, I know my equilibrium, what I typically eat, and I'm just upping it a little bit more from there. So it's a slow, steady gain. I'm making sure that I'm getting my goals, but I'm not overdoing it where I'm just eating like crap all the time, right? I'm still eating healthy. I'm just eating a little bit more than I typically would, which you really need to be doing if you want to grow your glutes. I have put on about 10 pounds and I'm actually very proud of that. It took me a minute to be comfortable with seeing the scale go up because it's just, you know, societal pressures of, oh my gosh, the scale's going up, what's going on? But muscle weighs more than fat. It's a lot denser than fat. So at any weight, the more muscle you have, you're going to look smaller. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to get those curves. And also it's just super functional to have strong glutes. It prevents back pain and a lot of other things. So strong glutes rule. I'm a big proponent of it. I do this twice a week and I can't wait to see. I'm going to continue to push myself on glute development. So we'll check back in and see how it goes. Do you have any questions? If you do, definitely comment below. Let me know. We can go into more depth about or anything like that. I can show you another glute workout. Let's grow together. If you've made it this far, you like this type of content, please subscribe to my channel. It helps me a lot and I so appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for being here. And there's that like button too. If you don't mind, also give me that one too. And I'll see you next time. Dream bigger and lift more.